Alright, here we are. Guess I'll get this thing one last try, this little YouTube thing. Morrowind, Elder Scrolls 3. Um, I was gonna play The Last of Us Part 1, the one on PC, but like all the PlayStation exclusives brought to PC, it's not a very good port, and a lot of problems. I got to the point where it would crash when I tried to open the game, and I thought it was because I could run the game perfectly for like the first hour, but the stuttering in like really dense areas, and I have like a 2070 and like, I don't know, Ryzen 7 shit in here or whatever. So it's not like I can't handle the game like at high, it's a medium-ish, but like the stuttering was crazy. And this was like I was late to the party to actually play. This was a week after it launched, and like it just wouldn't open, so I refunded it. Luckily, Steam, for once, actually did a refund like above 2 hours because the game wouldn't launch. But I had, I guess, what you'd call in the real world documentation. So I had everything to back my claims. Just kind of an important thing for people to realize. You need to document, because if you don't, it's a little difficult to uh, show them like, hey, I went through all this stuff, blah blah blah. I think the game's stabilized now. Maybe next paycheck or something I'll actually get it again. But for right now, it doesn't look like it's in the cards for me. So we're gonna play. Sorry if in advance if it sounds windy or shaky. I'm in the middle of a really bad Oklahoma storm, which is the usual around here. But I'm gonna try to give this game a go. So one thing I like to say though, I know probably nobody's watching this, but if you are, I'm one of those people that really likes to play Elder Scrolls games vanilla the first time. And by vanilla, I mean like completely vanilla, with no mods whatsoever, even graphically. Uh, but Bethesda games have a tendency to always have bugs. And it's weird because, each person might go like, Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout 4, whatever, without encountering bugs. Boom. One bug in like Fallout 3. Like for me, Fallout 3 was the buggy, crashy game. A lot of crashes. That's just because the DirectX or whatever they're using, it wasn't like good, and I know how to fix it. I never went through and fixed it though. I was too lazy. But I think Skyrim's always just had some clipping issues. Oblivion, uh, it was always the NPCs. Fallout 4, just yeah, we don't talk about Fallout 4. Vegas is honestly good. That was the only good thing. But Morrowind is one of those games that honestly isn't that terrible. But there are a lot of random annoying bugs and a lot of crashing bugs. So the two mods I got was you need like the script extender, which is the patch. You need the patch. You absolutely need the Morrowind patch thing or whatever. I don't remember the exact name, but basically it fixes all the really bad bugs. It also allows you to get the graphics extender, which this is. Um, but like I said, I like to keep it vanilla, so I didn't like try to add any fancy graphic mods, and this game doesn't look terrible. A lot of people didn't like how Oblivion and Skyrim looked. Skyrim Special Edition doesn't look terrible. Oblivion, I kind of like those softer colors or whatever, but at times it was a little, with the trees, it was a little bad. Skyrim, obviously, I mean, everybody goes all out. You got to. There's too many mods not to try to. This game, I decided, well, try to keep vanilla. I would recommend, um, if you go through both of these and hover over everything, it'll show you what it does. Like, some of these random bugs, like for instance, for fall damage, it's based off your frame rate, because the frame rate had a tendency to fluctuate. Even if you fall off a very like small edge, 1 foot drop, your frame rate's fluctuating. That's gonna, determine the speed at which you hit the ground and the damage you take. So it's one of those things you want to get this for. What I would recommend is for the script extender, change whatever you want, but for the graphics extender or whatever, I wouldn't touch it whatsoever. Like for the software-based stuff, that's just strictly to fix the crashing bug, I'd mess with whatever you want because there's not really a whole lot to mess with and it's all pretty well contained. But graphically, like you kind of you have to preload like all the terrain and stuff. That includes the DLC, and like if you add a grass shader or something or a grass patch, you have to do that for it. So it gets really complicated. So I just leave that how it is. The other thing is, this game only has, whenever initially you started, 640 up to 1024 for the frame, or not the frame rate, for the resolution. Which I'm one of those people. I always like to like have the screen closer, but 19, by 1080 is prime, and you do. There is a way to do it legit with like the Regit editor, where you basically go through and just straight up through the files, you manually increase like the screen width and height. The only problem with that is you don't have like the actual software or updated textures to go along to fit the resolution. So you're forcing a wide screen, so you're just widening it. It's not good. It's not good. It helps a bit, but it's not like great. But you could play it vanilla. So that's one of the things I changed. And it's nice because so basically this has like an entire menu, like this graphics center has an entire menu, and whatever you do there overwrites the game. So you will always start with the resolution you choose there. The other thing, if you do the resolution like the first way I mentioned, just going through the game files completely vanilla, whenever you alt-tab, the game will crash because it can't load back in the resolution you set. And it does that now because I haven't gone back and fixed it. Just something to note. But graphically, I mean, you don't really need anything else. This to me has always been the balanced but not balanced game, if that makes sense, because you're kind of free to basically become a god. But there are things that like limit that or whatever. And skill-wise stuff, you know how it is, but oh, I hear the thunder. We're just gonna go ahead and get in. These are how they are. I have where is it? I have the subtitles on. Audio, my headphones aren't very good, and the audio thing I have on my PC has been, it kind of got like not short-circuited, but it got overloaded. So I've had like sort of random audio issues, but I can hear the game just fine. So we're just gonna launch a new game. I guess we'll go through this like beginning cutscene here. Actually, never mind. That cutscene you don't miss a lot of, but I couldn't. The volume is way too loud. Oh, name Jason. No, let's just do. Folkio. Shutlat. There we go.
Well, not even last night's storm could wake you. I heard them say we've reached Morrowind. I'm sure they'll let us go.
Did you see the thing over there with the shadows? See, he's got a shadow now. And this dude doesn't have the weirdest walking mission known to man.
This is where you get off. Come with me.
Yes, sir. Abuse indeed. It is nice to have that 144 hertz refresh rate. Only thing, the crouching isn't like as smooth, but I'll take it.
Get yourself up on deck and let's keep this as civil as possible.
I think it's gonna give me, yeah. That's that, but...
The sooner you leave, the sooner we can move on.
The other thing that I did change was, it was like the thing, whenever you sell things, it shows you, like, basically like, oh, you don't have as high like bartering, whatever. It shows you how much gold you would get from each interaction, which for me, I've never like Oblivion kind of had this thing like that too, and it's a little bit more in depth, but it's but I've kind of changed it a little bit. So let's get up there. See, doesn't this look much nicer because you can actually see the world around you. Before we go talk to that guy, just gonna look around. Lock level 50.
This is where they want you. Head down to the dock and I'll show you to the census office.
I don't remember. Hello, sir.
You finally arrived, but our records don't show from where.
Okay. I don't know if I want to be a... I would like to go... I don't... This game's weird because magic's like kind of a staple here. This game's also weird because if you do not have the stats for something, it will hold you back pretty far. But you know, I would honestly prefer that because, you know, realistically, you should not be able to have, like, be a fighter, maxing fighting, and be able to cast, like, really high-powered destruction spells or whatever, and not really have a penalty to that. What else aren't bad? Red guards aren't bad. Probably want to go... And I also like that it shows you these skills. This game is very stat-based, so you're going to get a lot of numbers, which I know a lot of people don't like to deal with, but the good thing about numbers, they show you exactly where every single piece of information is going. So, I usually always play as an orc. Probably going to play as an elf this time. Dark elves aren't bad. So this is what a female dark elf looks like here. I like that. We'll just stick with that. Probably a dark elf for a wood elf. Sneak is such a good skill to have. This is very bad, by the way. Imperials are good for like fighting and talking. This is also good. They're good. Very good for, you know, overall fighting. Nords just kind of good fighters all around. Very good at like sustainability. Obviously, you have your little sneaks or whatever. I know people in this game are racist. Bretons are your weird little paladins, and Argolians. Argolians have always been weird. Medium armor, though, is something I would not mind having. So we might play as an Argolian. Argolian, I can't speak. Or I kind of want some sneak. Well-rounded stats, like a lot of stats, aren't bad either to have. I was thinking either a Dark Elf or Argonian for the breathing. Poison immunity is so nice. Okay. You know what? I'll be a dark elf. Let's
Great.
do it.
I'm sure you'll fit right in. Follow me up to the office and they'll finish your release.
We're gonna go ahead and go. Sorry for the loud water noise. I'll turn down my... I love that speedy load time. Ooh, see this interior. Not a whole lot of bright colors, but not a whole lot of dull color. It's like right in the middle, you know what I'm saying?
You've made your last mistake, thief.
Hello, sir.
Ah, yes, we've been expecting you. You have to be recorded before you're officially released. There are a few ways we can do this, and the choice is yours.
So, this game and Oblivion are different from Skyrim, as I'm sure a lot of people know, because you have skills and like random things that matter. And unlike Skyrim, that gives you a shitload of just all the stats in the game that you can see, then a bunch of random little like things added onto it. Uh, it's not as intuitive as this game. This isn't bad, but this also isn't bad, and this like this can kind of help dictate how you want to play. I would recommend though that you either pick from the class list or create a custom class because, as I said earlier, this game's different than other games in the series because you're very limited to your skills, so you have to play those to your strength. Now that's not saying it's not like Skyrim, where you can do something cheesy like hop on a bucket or do some random summoning or altercation or whatever magic a shitload of times to level up the skill very quickly. It's a little bit harder to do so in this game, but there's that. And you can always go back. These show you what everything is. This shows you, like, this gives you everything to kind of pick from.
On a clear day, you
And
chance upon a strange animal, its leg trapped
you
in a
have
hunter's claw
this,
snare. Judging from the
you have these
bleeding, it will
questions.
not survive long. What do you do? One summer afternoon, your father
We'll
gives
just
you
go
a
through
choice
these.
of chores. What would you rather do? Your cousin has given you a very embarrassing nickname, and even worse, likes to call you it in front of your friends. You have asked him to stop, but he finds it very amusing to watch you blush. What do you do? There is a
I do
lot
that.
of heated discussion at the local tavern over a group of people called telepaths. They've been hired by certain city-state kings. Rumor has it these telepaths read a person's mind and tell their lord whether a follower is telling the truth or not. You believe what?
Um, yeah,
Your
I would
mother
say
sends you to the market with a list of goods to
it's kind of
buy.
illegal.
After you finish, you find that by mistake a shopkeeper has given you too much money back in exchange for one of the items. What do you do?
Um, I mean, I'm not gonna go like in depth on this explanation. Kind of depends on what the thing is. Also depends, I would say, on the monetary, like how good the shopkeep's doing or whatever. Uh, I'm gonna go with this option because if they gave you extra money, if you buy more stuff there with it, then which is what I would do, they'd make it back anyway.
While in a marketplace, you witness a thief cut a purse from a noble. Even as he does so, the noble notices and calls for the city guards. In his haste to get away, the thief drops the purse near you. Surprisingly, no one seems to notice the bag of coins at your feet. What do you do? Your father sends you on a
I'm not
task
risking that.
which you loathe, cleaning the stables. On the way there, pitchfork in hand, you run into your friend from the homestead near your own. He offers to do it for you, in return for a future favor of his choosing. Your mother asks you to help fix the stove. While you're working, a very hot pipe slips its moorings and falls towards her. What do you do? While in town, the
Just push
baker
her,
gives
man.
you a sweet roll. Delighted, you take it into an alley to enjoy, only to be intercepted by a gang of 3 other kids your age. The leader demands the sweet roll, or else he and his friends will beat you and take it. What do you do? Entering town, you find that you are witness to a very well-dressed man running from a crowd. He screams to you for help. The crowd behind him seems very angry. What do you do?
So that'll go through and show you the entire list. Just, I mean, these questions are kind of cool, but and we know that he chose Archer from us, and Archer is not bad. Light armor, medium armor is good. Heavy armor is not bad. This is one of those games. I would say what I do think. These games have always done armor good, like the idea of poise, very well. Um, the To be honest with you, Fallout it just isn't really there like it should be. And then you're gonna be starting like Dark Souls or whatever, dude. It's even worse. So it's kind of what the plan is, though. We might just go with this Archer. I'll go actually through these and kind of show you. Just gonna take a picture to make a note of this because my memory is really bad today because I'm very tired. So just gonna take a picture. There we go. We'll go through Acrobat, kind of the Archer. A lighter bit of an Archer. Agent. This is more of a speech stealth type of dude. Pretty decent magic spells. This is one of those games where the magic's a bit more fleshed out. So I would always kind of recommend, even if you're that guy that always plays the same like warrior, big dude, whatever, I always recommend giving it a try because it's not gonna hurt you. But Archer is one he gave me. Assassin, straight up stealth build, barbarian. You know how these dudes are. Raging, unarmored, armor, light armor, not a lot of armor. You take damage, you sing. Bard has always been an interesting class. It's kind of hard, I will say, like in these games, especially for a bard. This isn't D&D, so it's hard to do a speech singing magic roll. But illusion and chant, pretty good. Security is also one of the better things. I like the fact that you can't just. It's not like Skyrim where everybody has 9,000 lockpicking because everybody has 50,000 lockpicks in their inventory. This is a cool one. This is one of my favorite ones, Battle Mage, because like I said, in Skyrim you can achieve this. Just gonna take a while. In Oblivion, it's weird because it's kind of like whatever character you make, you're gonna have a random blend of every single other character, which is fine. You know, I don't mind that, but it's hard to do. Crusader, kind of a cool one. Just your knight, basically. A knight, but it's more, I guess, weapon focused. You also get discretion, which is a very nice skill to have. Healer, kind of a hard class to play because you can't play with other people, but if you max out your damage, you'll be pretty good to go. Knights, a little different, which is kind of weird, but Crusaders are the more focused fighters because you also have this little skill, which is a weird, unique thing in this game because everybody in this game is racist for some reason. Anyhow, we'll go with the mage, very stereotypical mage, all these spells, intelligence, willpower, monk, kind of a cool. I like the D&D thing they took with this game, especially with a lot of these, you know, like monk, not to be that guy, but you get acrobatics. The one weird thing they don't do, like with barbarians and monks, it's also weird that you kind of get willpower. Not a bad skill to have, but the armored like thing and the unarmored thing. Like I said, this game is very. You have select skills. You do select things. It's very hard to do anything out of your skill range. Nightblade, interesting one. Kind of like your mage assassin. Uh, security, like I said, not bad. Sneak's pretty good. Short blade's weird one. Pilgrim, this is kind of like the Dark Souls thing. To me, it always felt like the Dark Souls thief class for some reason, but just random other stealth class. Rogue, which is a weird class because this one isn't really like focusing on speed, like sneak, which is interesting because you have stuff like Pilgrim or whatever that focus more on that. Scout, a lot of these random combat classes with like different, basically new attributes per thing. Sorcerer, interesting. Interesting class. Like the Battle Mage, you can get some pretty decent spell sword. Literally just, you know, your fighter that can use weapons. Thief, the go-to class. Warrior, kind of like that Dex build from Dark Souls. And the Witch Hunter, which kind of a weird sneaking jack of all trades type of dude. But I'm probably going to go with the Archer because this is what it gave me. However, I do like the idea of using magic. So maybe we'll go with this. I kind of hate the fact that we get only like medium armor or light armor for the other one. It's weird that the Archer is like combat focused. Agility and strength are good too. Strength is an interesting one because you do need strength for things that you have to do. We also need to take into account a race, so Nightblade might be the way to go. I'm trying to think, which one should I do? Nightblade or... Probably this or another weird class, the Archer. I do like having sneak. You know what? We'll go with what the game gave us.
Very good. The letter that preceded you mentioned you were born under a certain sign. And what would that be?
And this is why I like this game, because you have these stats and you see what they do. So, I'll just kind of briefly go over these. Magicka, Stunning Magicka, Personality, Endurance, Weakness to Fire, Restore Health, blah blah blah. I will say, this isn't like Skyrim. The problem with the way Skyrim does it is you don't know how much benefit you're getting from like using these stones. I do like the fact that you have to explore for the stones, but it's like the stones that you really need to be using to hyper focus on that class could be miles away, and you might not even find them in that game. You might not even know they exist unless you're looking for them. The Lord's always an interesting one. I do like Restore Health. That's always been a good spell. Paralyze is good. Fatigue is also a good thing to have. The Ritual's always a weird one. Health. Serpent's weird. Shadow's nice to have. You get Sanctuary, the Tower. Always a weird one to have because it's your weird checking to see if something's going on. Warrior's very basic. Invisibility isn't bad to have. I'm leaning on that or the Lord. Abilities are always good to kind of have, like randomly, but weakness to fire isn't like a good thing, obviously. So we'll probably just do the Shadow. The problem with a lot of these that kind of have like a weakness aspect to them, like the fatigue, you just kind of want to skip, so probably go with the Shadow. I like having
Interesting.
invisibility.
Now, before I stamp these papers, make sure this information is correct.
Pretty decent, like, well-rounded things. Marksman's good, long blade's good, light armor's good, medium armor. Kind of play into that a lot. Like I said, because of the way this game works, very, very, very hard to get those skills leveled up. So you have to play into your strengths. Luck is a weird thing. I just kind of want to point that out on this. This game is different because you don't. This is your charisma. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil like too much, but this game has like kind of that racial component, and it's also you gotta take into like reading the room or whatever what's going on. Willpower is important too, because if you know like your stamina or whatever, very important. Magic or your strength, obviously, also important because of health. For this game, I kind of want to make this dude more of like a mage, but keep some of these stats so I don't die immediately. I've never been a big fan of these games where I have to like kite around enemies and just use spells, so like WoW or something. And obviously, you can change your race as well. Oh, I need to retype this. Cholukio. Just gonna do that, but no, what was the name I wanted to say? Zegabroth, the Ninth. There we go, Zegabroth the Ninth. That's a great name to have. Um, but yeah, we're gonna go into the game like this. These are important, but this weird spell. Luck, this is just one of those annoying things, but at the same time, you know, you're not going to see what your luck does to everything else. That's not how luck should work. Luck should be that random hidden skill. You don't really know what it does unless you do a really deep, in-depth guide or you go through and actually look. But I think this is what we're going to start with.
Show your papers to the captain when you exit to get your release fee.
I think it saves on exit, right? Okay, so I can't do that until I leave this office. Do for release, name, blah blah blah. I don't remember. Oh yeah, this game's interesting with the whole right click thing.
You've stolen for the last time. Continue through to the next building and talk to Celestravius.
This shows you everything, your weapons, your apparel, your magic, your miscellaneous. If you put that in your hands, you can read it. Okay, I failed that. Yep, don't have enough gold for any of that. Yeah. We have to go through this entire tutorial. Yeah, we just read that. Yep, I'm aware of that. Let's, F, okay. Okay. So, oh, tab, by the way, is to, like, do that thing. Map at the very freaking bottom. And this is where it is. Very nice, huh? And you can, I do like this menu system, very in depth. So we do have our magic menu here, and this shows that. So yeah.
Your papers, please.
Hmm. We are going there. I am going to exit now. This kind of dragged on. I think that's a good start to the game.